So hi guys, again on a different setting with my friend, my new friend, Paul. Now I got his name correct. How my husband call you, Paul?
Birdie.
Birdie. There is a story behind that. Why?
It's similar to my surname, and because my dad's a twitcher, a keen bird watcher.
I
So
see. How
a
cute.
nickname I got when I was probably 8 years old, and still lives on to this day.
Oh, fantastic. So Paul, or Birdie, or you guys call David Cole, gonna teach us to cook today, something we're gonna take to the afternoon tea. So tell us what you're gonna cook today. Where are you from as well, or what's the restaurant you're from?
So I'm the head chef at Whittles Restaurant at Binswood Hall in Leamington, where you'll be having the afternoon tea, and I'm going to show you how to cook or bake scones, which is an essential part of any afternoon tea.
Afternoon tea in England, we need to. I heard about scones here in England because we don't have scones in Brazil. So scones is a very traditional. If you're Brazilian, you're watching that, it's a very traditional. Every afternoon tea need to have better. Is more important than the cake, right?
It's probably the main element, I would suggest.
And there is a fight as well.
Scone and the tea.
How is they say that? Is first the cream and then the jam?
Devon and Cornwall, yeah. So one puts
fight.
jam underneath and cream on top, and one puts the cream underneath and the jam on top.
Anyway, all the way. I love both ways, so I'm gonna eat, and I'm excited about that. So how are we starting all this process?
Okay.
People at home need to know.
So the first thing we're going to do is we have 450 grams of plain flour.
Plain flour. So you're gonna use the blender.
Yeah, smaller amounts. You can rub the butter into the flour with your hands.
Yeah.
But for lazy people like me, and for the sort of amounts we make at work, then we'll use
the blender,
the KitchenAid. So 450 grams of flour, and then I've got 75 grams of butter.
Salted or with salt, or doesn't matter?
This is salted butter. A lot of people bake with unsalted butter, but then add salt to the recipe anyway. Salt's a flavour enhancer, essentially. So
I love that. Let me bring the bowl to you.
Yeah, thank you.
It'll be easy, isn't it? Silly me. You use me as a sous chef, I don't mind.
This butter should rub in reasonably quickly because it's at room temperature rather than fridge temperature.
Okay.
Which is why it's not necessarily cutting so much.
Oh, fantastic.
So that's going to go into the KitchenAid.
Oh, stop. Come down, Bianca. Okay, so push this.
Yeah, just on a low speed, that's it.
Okay.
So you just wait until you've rubbed the butter into the flour. You call it breadcrumb consistency.
Yeah. As this is doing, what we're doing the other side.
So the next thing to go in is going to be baking powder. So that's your raising agent for the scone.
Yeah.
So
how much baking powder is there?
28 grams of baking powder in there. Some people use self-raising flour, less baking powder. Self-raising flour essentially works on 3% baking powder to the flour ratio, so you can imagine you've got about 30 grams of baking powder to 100 grams of flour if you're using self-raising flour.
Oh.
I've always just used plain flour and added the amount of baking powder I need.
You need to got more control there, isn't it? You know exactly what you're doing.
It's just the recipe I've stuck with through my career, really, and it works.
How many years you been a chef? Because you told me that you went to university and then I said, I don't want to do this anymore.
So 25 years, I would imagine. About 19 when I dropped out of university and became a chef. Started in a pizza restaurant, doing obviously just pizzas, and then we did a bit of grill work with chicken and steaks. Still thinking I wasn't going to be a chef at this point. I was wondering what I was going to do with my life, and then when I left there, I still needed a job, so I got a commie job at a conference centre, and thought I was a cook at that stage and knew absolutely nothing, and then got a very good head chef who was classically trained and took me from not knowing what celeriac is
Teach you all everything.
So worked on the larder section, which is the starters, cold buffets and stuff. Main section, like the sauce section. So started to cook the main courses, the hot food, and then I did about 3.5 years on pastry. Went to college courses and stuff whilst I was there, so spent 12 years there and went from commie, and I was a demi-sous chef by the time I left.
And then how did you go to?
And so my head chef had left this kitchen previous to me, and he went over to Whittles Restaurant. And he became the head chef there. And then the position of sous chef, like second chef, opened up there, so he contacted me.
You went
said,
there.
you know, do you want to change your pace, change your career? Do you want to come over here and try this? So I went over there, and then he wanted to get out of the chefing game at that point. So after about a year, he
You took
left,
his place.
and then they promoted me up to head chef, and they've regretted it ever since. I think.
What is your favorite thing to cook?
We've got a slow braised shoulder of lamb dish, garlic and rosemary potatoes, courgettes and harissa.
Ooh, I like
flavours
that.
of a tagine broken
that.
down off the plate. That's a nice dish. So the next stage, we've got our milk. So we've got 260 millilitres of milk.
Yeah.
And then we've got 50 grams of sugar. So we're going to put the sugar into the milk.
Mixing there.
That's caster sugar, so it dissolves quicker. Yes, please. And so yeah, we're just going to give this a stir.
Need to be caster sugar or can be other sugar?
Caster sugar is just a lot finer, so we'll dissolve into the milk
quicker,
a lot quicker. Yeah. I mean, you can use granulated. It might not, because it's not warm milk, so it doesn't dissolve through heat.
So it's cold milk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think is your thing with the baking? You said you've gone to school to study baking.
So when I did, I got moved to the pastry section in the previous kitchen, and then I went to do my level 3, MVQ level 3, as like a day release with work and going to Stratford College. And at that point, I was basically a pastry chef at that stage. I stayed in the pastry section for a long time. And we're just going to keep this mixing quite slow until it all comes together.
And this one is the plain one, isn't it? It's not with the dates or
no, so we do 2 scones on our afternoon tea. So we do a plain sweet scone, and then we also do the fruit scone.
So now we finished. So you put the milk.
So you can stop the once it's come together and combined as a sticky dough.
Okay.
You don't want to overmix it.
Don't need to overmix.
No.
Yeah.
And with scones, the wetter the mix, the fluffier the end product, but it's also less likely to hold its shape. So the drier the mix, the neater looking scone you'll get, but it'll obviously be a drier end result. The wetter the mix, the lighter the scone you'll have, but it's more likely to expand out everywhere.
Yeah.
So you want to try and find
the balance in the middle
the balance
there.
consistency.
Mix everything together, but not too much.
Yeah, and then don't overmix it. Once it's come together, like pastries, most things, as soon as it's started to come together, you want to stop there.
So do you want to take it out now?
Yeah, that can come out now.
Oh, see.
And then you want a lightly floured surface. Right, so you're going to get a bit messy on the hands now at this stage. Yeah,
that's good. Took everything out.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to give you the tray.
Yeah, we need a lined baking tray. So at this stage, again, a lot of chefs will get a rolling pin out. I've always just hand pressed my mix down.
This is good to do with the kids, isn't it, as well? Because this looks like a Play-Doh type of thing. My kids like to do that.
Very easy mix to make. You can get sticky and messy, but it's fairly easy to get a good end result. It's not a tricky bit of baking, scones.
So get ready, guys. We're coming to the afternoon tea with the scones.
So you're going down to, I'd say, around an inch, 2 centimetres to an inch, probably. Okay. And this is personal choice as well. So you could have a lot thicker to start off with. Depends what size scone you're trying to make. And obviously for the look of the size of the cakes and everything on the stand to keep it all consistent. And
you don't put eggs on yours on top?
No, so you can glaze with milk, you can glaze with egg wash. We used to do an egg wash and glaze the top, but then we realised that's the only egg element of the scone. So with all the allergens, not use egg wash. Okay, so we've pressed it down to around, like I say, around an inch thick. We're going to cut the scones now out of the dough, and to get a nice raise all the way around your scone, with it coming up evenly and stuff. You don't want any friction pressing through the dough, because if you squeeze the sides down, that's when you get them coming out at all different angles and shapes. So
you dip on the flour.
Between each cut, if you dip it in the flour, it shouldn't drag through
isn't it? Dry the edges, the sides.
It should go through clean, and therefore your scone should raise up in one cohesive unit.
So you're going to put here.
Take the scones out. This is probably a quarter of the size of the recipe that we would use at work. If you were making them at home, you'd probably half the recipe that I've given down again. and that will probably yield you around 10 scones, depending on what size.
Do you think it's better
cut them
fresh? You cannot freeze them. Can you freeze them?
You can freeze scones, but yeah, scones are always best on the
Fresh,
day they're
isn't it?
made. Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go. Warm butter.
Okay, we good? Yeah.
Paul gets nervous around me. I'm so sorry.
Thank
Paul.
you for the warm butter.
You're welcome, Paul.
So now pastry brush, and you're just going to lightly go across the top of each one. Just give it a little brush. Doesn't matter if you.
But if you don't have allergy if people doesn't have allergy of
an egg wash will give you the shiniest.
I like that. That's what I like.
Yeah,
I love
the
it.
glossiest finish.
Yeah. I like the egg white.
And then we're just going to sprinkle
Some
a little sugar over the top.
Yeah. That is what for?
Well, I mean, there's sugar in the mix, so more a bit of extra sweetness, but just help it caramelizes a little bit over the top.
Yeah.
And just gives it a nice finish.
Matt again. I'm so sorry, Matt. You're not here to eat. Matt, the editor. He's keep watching all this food when he's editing. I bet he's hungry now. Are you hungry, Matt?
Oh, absolutely not.
So right.
Okay.
So now oven.
That's done. Yep. So that's ready for the oven now. So a scone this size, say 5 centimetre cutter. That's going to be 10 minutes at 170.
So now, as you all know, the power of the magic of the cameras and the TV, we already have one ready because he got me ready one, and he even made me one. It's gluten-free. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So now we already warm up a little bit this in the oven, and then should we try it? So why is the hot water on the teaspoon for what reason?
That's just to do a quenelle of the clotted cream to sit on. We're going to put the jam on first, and we're going to do the cream on top. Okay, so we're going to spread a bit of the jam on first.
Which one is yours? You do jam first, and then so I do that.
I would do jam first.
Yeah.
And the cream on top.
Should I fix? Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! This is so good. Oh, gluten-free one is really good. I didn't know that would taste good.
Well, it took us a while to perfect that scone recipe. It's not as easy.
Say where you work again for people to remember again.
So Whittles Restaurant is based at Binswood Hall, north of Leamington.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful house, guys. It's amazing. The place is gorgeous. You do dinners there as well, not only afternoon tea.
Yeah, the restaurant's open 12 till 7, serving lunch and dinner. Afternoon tea, 2:30 till 5, all afternoon on a Saturday.
Fantastic. Guys, this is all for us today. This smells delicious. And I see you guys at the
Whittles Restaurant on the 1st of September.
Yay! Don't miss it out because it's going to be delicious. And I see you the next episode of Mia's Kitchen Show too. Bye! See you later. Bye! Bye! Bye.